Okay, so Pikachu is the Pokemon we grew up with. He's the Pokemon we need and the Pokemon we deserve. So here's 5 things that you probably did not know about Pikachu. Okay, guys, so first on the list is Ash's Pikachu was named Gene Luke in the manga. Pokemon is a worldwide phenomenon that originated in Japan, but that doesn't mean it doesn't have its Western influences. Just the idea of a small yellow rat that can soar and dispense lightning is a crazy one, and it's sometimes that somehow caught on and made us feel more cultured for understanding. And when making the jump from Japan to everywhere else, Pikachu's name wasn't changed to Greg the Rat or anything ridiculous like that. It was just left the way it was, and we all understood it. Pikachu was Pikachu, but was he really? As it turns out, when Pikachu was first introduced, his name was actually Jean-Luc Pikachu. First mentioned by Ash, but then quickly abandoned in any other iteration of the Pokemon franchise. Jean-Luc Pikachu appeases fans that thought the ultra-Japanese Pokemon needed to be more French, or perhaps they're setting up a Star Trek. But it really appeases no one else. It's a confusing bit of Pokemon trivia that is never given much thought, but it's one of that we should all bring up on occasion just to keep things interesting. Next up is female Pikachu have a notch in their tail. The one thing that many beginner Pokemon fans don't understand right away is that Pikachu isn't just the name of one singular Pikachu. It's also the plural for an entire Pokemon species, and within that species are of course female and male Pikachu, each roaming around with their own distinctive personality. So how do we differentiate the two genders? Well, it's relatively simple, at least in some cases. Although Pikachu never had an established gender difference at the onset of the franchise in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, gender differences were introduced into the Pokemon universe, thus making identification easier. Should that be of concern to anyone for whatever reason? Since then, female Pikachu were seen with notches or indents at the end of their tails, and males weren't. But don't worry, this isn't some type of Avatar-esque sex adventure whereby Pikachus everywhere are sticking their tails together, at least we don't think it is. Next on the list is no one can agree if Ash's Pikachu is a boy or girl. Despite the previous mentioned gender difference between Pikachu, one thing that not even the biggest Pikachu expert knows is whether or not the world's most famous Pikachu, Ash's Pikachu, is actually a boy or girl. Speculation on its front has run wild since the character introduction, but the fact remains that Pikachu's creators have intentionally kept the avatar vague so that Pikachu could appeal to people of both genders. While you may assume that you could just look at Pikachu's tail for its gender reveal, Ash's Pikachu was introduced in the anime before gender differences were established throughout the franchise. One argument for Pikachu being a female is that in an episode of Pokemon Black and White, a female Pokemon used Attract on Pikachu but nothing happened. However, another argument is made for Pikachu being a male in that characters often refer to it as a he. All we know for sure is that Pokemon everywhere has an opinion for Pikachu's gender, and no one has been proven 100% correct. Next on the list is Pikachu actually translates into English. For those of you that think Pikachu is just a cool name for a brightly colored electricity, Rodent, think again. Pika is a Japanese word for electricity crackling, and chu is how the Japanese describe the sound of mice. But put the two together and you have a name that spread across the generation and actually ended up inspiring some parents to name their children Pikachu, or more accurately, electricity crackling mice. According to Pokemon developer Junichi Masuda, Pikachu wasn't an easy name to come up with, and creators wanted to develop something that would be a hit to both Japanese and American audiences. Eventually, after much back and forth, Pikachu was chosen and it eventually led into the sounds that made Pikachu famous. Pika Pikachu became a catchphrase for Pikachu, and the character's name quickly spread around the world as something that fit perfectly, despite many not knowing that it actually had a meaning behind it, aside from simply sounding cool. Now, last on our list is Ash was once transformed into a Pikachu. One of the more interesting facts in Pokemon canon is that yes, it's apparently possible for humans to turn into Pokemon. Although it's not something you'll see every day, it's the type of Pokemon fact that makes long-term fans scratch their heads and say, huh? A shining example of this is when in the episode Hocus Pokemon Ash found himself in the receiving end of a spell that would enable him to think like a Pokemon. Of course, the spell backfires and ends up turning Ash into a Pikachu, complete with his own eyes, voice, hair, and infamous hat. This Ash Pikachu hybrid ended up being called Ashachu, because why not? And it's still remembered fondly by fans. And while the transformation was temporary and ended up getting reversed by the next episode, it opens up a lot of possibilities for future transformations of humans into Pokemon. In the meantime, all we can do is set up our desktop wallpapers to a photo of Ashachu and remember the good old days. If you've made it to the end of this video, that just proves that you are a true Pokemon fan. And if you haven't already, make sure that you click that subscribe button. It helps with the YouTube algorithm, and like this video. And comment your favorite color or comment what you've learned from this video. And without further ado, I'll catch you later. See you.